Okay guys, so like I promised, I'm going to be looking at the Gary Coleman safety instruction video from, I forget if this was the 80s or 90s, but you know, because I liked how the Blockbuster training video review came out, so I wanted to start looking at some like older, obscure videotapes and stuff like this that, you know, people eventually like put up on YouTube. So this one sparked my interest. I wanted to see how, like, if it was at least somewhat decent. So I mean, compared to the Blockbuster training videos, which were just cheesy. And I'm willing to bet this is going to be cheesy too, because I have it queued up and I'm about to watch it, but I want to at least see if it's like at least like tolerable and if it actually has like some value to it. So we'll see how that turns out. And Alright, so I just got done watching it, and, well, it's definitely got a lot of cheesiness to it. Like, it's one of those things where they feel the need to put, like, story, in quotation marks, in the instruction video. Like, okay, here's the framework they've got going on, right? You have Gary Coleman as some kind of scientist, because he's got a lab coat, and he's at this, like, big-ass computer, and he has like a bunch of different people coming in. Like he has this lady in a nurse outfit, and they all like talk to these kids, and sometimes they show like different scenarios.
No, I have a package for her.
Just leave it by the door and she'll get it when she can.
No, she has to sign for it.
I'm sorry, I'm not allowed to sign for anything.
Well, she won't get her package then.
Overall, the video's goal is to try and teach like general safety. Like, for example, in one scene they teach you how to do the Heimlich maneuver.
Don't ever feel embarrassed to call for help. Even if nothing is wrong, everyone will be happy you used your good judgment.
But whereas this special comes off as very cheesy is, well, there's actually several benefactors to that. First of all, the fact that they had to get a celebrity in here. Like, there were a bunch of these. Like, if you go back and watch, like retro commercials and PSAs and stuff like that, you know, you had ones with Mr. T.
I get angry just thinking about it. Makes me mad. Little kids doing drugs, it turns my stomach. It hurts the user. It hurts his family. And it hurts his friends. I just want to shake some sense into you kids that are using drugs and thinking about using it. So remember, don't, or else.
So in this case, they got Gary Coleman, and I can see Gary Coleman probably saw this and thought it would be a good idea, because it's like, you know, that way, you know, you're trying to help promote, you know, good things, you know, good values for the younger generation. So I could see them probably thinking this would be a good idea, but the whole framing device they came up with is just weird. Gary Coleman is like a scientist who is watching everyone in the world on various different monitors, and apparently he can control what happens in people's lives. Like, he's watching this one kid eating lunch, and he's with the nurse lady, and he's like, what would happen if that kid started choking? And then he pushes a button on his computer, and that's exactly what happens.
I wonder if Jack were to choke on some food caught in his throat.
And that's also weird, because Gary and his guests can just talk to the two kids that the whole tape follows throughout the story. The kids' names, by the way, are Jack Example and Jill Example.
There's a man trying to break in the front door of my apartment. My name is Jack Example.
But yeah, they talk to them, and there's a lot of like fourth wall breaking kind of shtick that they have with that. There's also these interviews with this guy who's supposed to be a cop, and like they do it in like a cheesy infomercial kind of way, where like the cop will be standing there, and he's like, you know, so what's about to happen is a crime is about to be committed, and it shows a kid stealing another kid's bike in the background. And then it cuts back to him in the foreground, and he's like, so, that just happened. What are you supposed to do? It's just so cheesy the way they do it. It's just like, I'm in the foreground. Thing happens in background. What do you do? It's one of those. That said, though, there seemed to be some good intentions. Like, they were probably trying to teach, like, some actual good stuff. And despite the fact that some of the acting is very over-the-top and hammy, and there are a lot of parts that are definitely, like, you know, late 80s, early 90s cheese, overall, it's just okay. I mean, it's honestly, I just put it on par with the Blockbuster training videos. They're clearly trying to do something, and while I definitely appreciate them trying, at the same time, it doesn't stop the overwhelming amount of hamminess and cheese going on. And there's a couple of moments that you might look at and go, huh, that's kind of corny. But overall, yeah, this is just one of those videotapes from around that time. That's it for Blockbusters in January. We're gonna start up again in February. I got 2 movie reviews coming up. Well, actually, one's gonna be a little bit like this. We're gonna be looking at like one of these like old 80s or 90s videotapes. And one of them is going to be a review of an actual movie. So look forward to that in February. I'm Adam Sykes, and we will see you guys in the next video.
You can finish your lunch.
No, thanks.